Hey guys, Tresa again. I'm just coming to hang out for a little bit with you and chat. I want to tell you a story. Um, it's a little bit of a lengthy story, but it's not. Anyways, I'm going to tell you a story. So and it backs up to when my daughter was born. She's 27. So during pregnancy, I developed carpal tunnel in both hands, which is very common during pregnancy. And after she was born, it bothered me for a while, and then it got worse a bit. I want to say she was maybe around 2, and it was really bothering me. So we're talking like 25 years ago. And I started doing some research because even back then, I was really all about natural solutions. And so I was trying to find the right solution to the carpal tunnel. But I went to the doctor to just check, and he said, yes, definitely that's what it is. And his idea was for me to get shot up with some cortisone, and if that didn't work, we talk about surgery. And I said, well, wait a minute, what about, I've heard about acupuncture, I've heard about there's some vitamins that could be helpful. And he said, well, if you want to try that, that's fine, but that's not what I do. And he basically dismissed me. And I said, okay, I'm done with this, doctor. And I did some more research, and I found that vitamin B6 helps the central nervous system and can be very helpful in carpal tunnel. So I started taking 100 milligrams of B6 3 times a day with every meal. And within a few months, it was much, much better. And then it just kind of disappeared. And for like over 20 years, it hasn't bothered me at all. So fast forward, I'm getting older, inching closer to 60, not there yet, but getting closer. And I think I've told you part of this story maybe, but maybe you haven't seen that video, or maybe, anyways. So earlier this year, we started getting the house ready so that I could sell the house. My daughter moved out, my son was in the process of moving out, and I started doing a lot of little things, fixing things, scraping, sanding, and I was cleaning walls and, just doing all the things. So my hands were sore and I was doing a lot. So they were overworked and sore and achy. And one night I was scraping some sticky stuff off the inside of a cabinet. Somebody put stickers or something in there. And I was using my left hand, and I'm right-handed. And so I was scraping away and didn't think anything of it. My hands were already sore anyways, but I went to bed that night and I woke up in the morning and my left hand, my thumb, was absolutely throbbing. And you can see the difference between this is my right and this is my left. This thumb was completely looking really wonky. I mean, very different than this one. So I went to urgent care and they did some x-rays, and at first they thought it was dislocated, but it was moving fine. So it just hurt. So they put me in a splint that held it like this and sent me to an orthopedic doctor. And he said, it's probably a bad sprain. Stay in that splint and we'll see you in a few weeks. We'll take another x-ray. So for 3 weeks, I was in a splint that kept me like this. And I do believe that made it worse. After 3 weeks, I went back to him, and he sent me to a hand therapist, but put me in a splint that held it like this, which did help some to kind of stabilize it. And I did hand therapy, and she helped me to strengthen it. And in the meantime, I was still working on the house and doing all the things that I needed to do to get the house ready. I started painting. I was painting with one hand mostly, whole rooms by myself when nobody was around, and because we wanted to get the inside of the house painted, and I was doing things outside and inside and all the things. So come the beginning of August, when we were almost ready to have it on the market, my body was done. My hands, both hands, were so sore and achy that they just throbbed every night. And I was exhausted. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm so tired. And the kids helped me. We finished everything up and we got the house on the market. Got all the cleaning done, got all the last minute stuff done, and it was great. House has been on the market. We're waiting for it to sell. I know I've shared that with you guys too. And in the midst of all this, over the course of the last month or so, a little more than that, I started to really realize, like, hang on, you have all these healthy habits, and I was still eating healthy and trying to get plenty of rest, but when you're exhausted and have a million things to do, you wake up during the night. And I was getting my fitness in, but not quite the same, because I wasn't able to do the same like stretching that I normally do, like the planks and, you know, the stretching on the floor with my hands out. So I really started to realize that my whole health was being affected by this. So I really got back to my healthy habits, and I fit fitness in different ways, and it's feeling a lot better. I'm able to get more stretching in, and I'm doing good. In the meantime, I started to really learn a lot of things about metabolic health, and I share essential oils. It's not a secret. People know that about me. And the company that I represent has some new products coming out, and they've been sharing a lot about metabolic health and I started to really think, wow, my metabolic health is terrible. And you know, my brain, like I can't even think straight sometimes, and my inflammation in my body was definitely increased. And so I've gotten really back to my healthy habits, really working on that, really doing a lot more learning about metabolic health. And the pillars of metabolic health are things like eating well, fitness, managing your stress, healthy supplementation, which I do, and having good relationships with people. So all things that I already do, but I'm learning about some products that can be super helpful, and I'm excited to share those as we get closer to the time that they're going to be introduced and more about them. But what it's really opened my eyes up to is that there's health span and there's lifespan, and there's a time during our lifespan that we have like optimum health, and only 6.8% of the adult population in the United States is metabolically healthy. That's a very, very small percentage, especially since I personally know tons of people that try to do all the right things, eat well, and do all the right things. But our metabolism naturally decreases over time because certain things in our body just age. And did you know that every time you have a sugar spike, which is pretty much anytime you eat a bagel or white bread or anything starchy or have anything with sugar in it, it increases your blood, you know, your blood sugar, and then it drops. So anytime that happens, it ages your cells. So I'm learning all sorts of things about how we can keep our blood sugar more stable and how we can increase our metabolic health and just do a better job of it. And some exciting new products coming. But in the meantime, I'm really working on helping people with the pillars of eating healthy, living a really great life. For me, that's inspired by God, and faith is a huge part of it, and prayer and meditating on scripture and reading his word. And then fitting fitness in, whether it's little spurts here and there, or, you know, some people are busy. They're like, I don't have a lot of time. So maybe you need just a few minutes of stretching, or a quick fast power walk for, you know, 5 or 10 minutes or something like that. So sharing all that, and just really want to help people to live their best life. So if you want to learn more about that, check the info in the below this video, and check out the info about my program called The Simple Life. It's a great 3-month program that will get you on track and living well and set you up so that then you can start to change your metabolic health. And maybe we can reverse our aging, and maybe we really can bring ourselves back to where they were when they were younger. That's my hope, and that's my plan, and I'm working on that. But in the meantime, I'm doing all the things. I'm eating really healthy, and I am getting in lots of extra fitness wherever I can, and getting more rest, and managing my stress, enjoying time outside as much as possible. Today was a glorious day here in Massachusetts. It was about 70, low 70s. There was a beautiful cool breeze for most of the day. My AC is turned off. I have windows open. The house is cool and feels amazing. It's going to get down into the 50s tonight and be nice and chilly for sleeping. It's going to be great. And tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day in the 70s, and the sun is still really warm this time of year, so I'm really, really enjoying it. I love looking and behind me with the trees and the sun shining on them. It's just I love this time of year. It's beautiful. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. God bless you, my friends.